Hi everyone. Although this is Sunday, I felt like doing this little video because I just came out of a retreat myself, and it really strikes me how valuable that is to retreat from time to time, to pull the plug on the autopilot and do something completely different or have a room for reflection that can allow you to shift gears. And it should not be necessary to remind each other of this, but we live, as you know, in a culture where special leaders are expected to perform 24/7, to be productive all the time, to be effective all the time, to be online all the time, to be available at all times. And this era of hybrid working has not necessarily made that easier, because now you're expected to be available at all times. I mean, my son, he was even expected to deliver his exercises at school, even though he was home with COVID. I mean, I couldn't believe it. But they expected the student to be just as productive as if he was completely well. And that says a lot about our work culture today, especially in the West. We are obsessed with working, and we are under obsessed with reflection time and pausing. And I believe it's not so difficult to conclude while we are driving ourselves and the planet into destruction with this method or this work ethic or this paradigm. It is simply not sane. We know from our studies of how the brain works that we absolutely need breaks in order to regenerate, recuperate, renew ourselves, renew our systems, and digest everything we have absorbed in order for, and it's especially important if we want to come up with some wise solution, not just some random solution. You can see how bad that goes. So it's crazy to think that we are in a culture where you might be sitting here on Sunday working away because you don't allow yourself to get a break, or maybe you are working for someone who doesn't allow that, or maybe you can just not see how you can get through all the piles of work before Christmas if you don't work on Sunday included. So you probably know what I'm talking about. This is the default setting in modern Westerners, is just to be active all the time, being doing mode. You could call this to be in masculine overdrive, regardless of whether you are a man or woman or anything in between. It's nothing to do with men or women. It has to do with that particular side of us that is in doing and in focus and in action all the time, and giving very little room for the other side of us, which is our so-called feminine side, our yin side, which is all about pausing, reflecting, thinking in terms of wholeness, being creative, using the intuition, getting in touch with the heart, getting in touch with the soul, getting in touch with the body. So it's a very different gear. And if we don't allow ourselves to spend enough time in that gear, obviously we're going to create imbalance. So I just wanted to remind you of the power of pausing, and the power of taking a little break, and the power of retreating from time to time, especially if you are a leader. You are not going to be able to navigate your teams powerfully through the chaos of our times if you don't take time to reflect. That's for sure, because no one can do that. Even if you're a superhero, it's not possible. You might have been able to do that in more stable times, but it's no longer stable times, and it will not become stable times. I think it will become even more unstable before it becomes more stable. So forget about that strategy. Now, what counts is to be able to stay steady and the good old-fashioned terms, cool, calm, and connected, even though chaos is raging around you. And that requires that you do take time for reflection. So even though I create a lot of groups around leadership, around 21st century leadership. I always, you could say that I get the reflection time with the groups, but I always eat my own medicine. So I also participate in leadership groups where we reflect, and thank Goddess for that. I find that it has enabled me to shift level of consciousness so that I'm not just keeping operating on the same old level where nothing new can actually happen. This is a very dangerous path in the era of innovation to just continue on that same old. It's very good to get a break. First I got a break with COVID, and now I got a break with a retreat. So double break, and I can really feel the difference in my system. And it reminded me that it's actually one of the things that I find is very useful in the leadership training that I do, because it's very long. It's 9 months or 12 months. And it's an opportunity to constantly be forced to reflect. We meet not only live once a month, but we also meet once a week, and we reflect together. And we have little reflection exercises for every single day, so we are sure that we never go one day without retrieving and looking inside and listening to what wants to happen, and really pulling our energies to us so that we just don't spill them all over. So if you're looking for a place to reflect on a steady basis, this could be one option. But also, I have a retreat coming up in January, the 14th to the 16th, where we take a couple of days and retreat out in a place close to nature. And we do a lot of, we work with the 7 aspects of 21st century leadership, but we also take a lot of time for reflection and for rebooting our systems and re-energizing ourselves so that we can really come back with wisdom for the new era. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to contact me, and you can always find me here on the social media or on my website, and I can send you the details. But for now, I just wanted to remind you of the importance of reflection. So important, especially in times of chaos and upheaval. It is so easy to be spun around in the chaos of the surroundings. And if you don't take leadership for your own inner quietness and calmness, you will be led by the unconscious, just autopilot stream of the collective in chaos. So good opportunity to stop and reflect and find out if you are operating on the level of consciousness that will actually solve your problems, or if there's it makes more sense to make a shift. And you cannot shift without a pause and without reflecting. So it's a must to stop, maybe go out in the fresh air, take a nap, write in your journal, dance, shake the old paradigm off, do something different, and allow yourself to get some fresh air in your head so that you can make some better decisions. All right, thank you for your attention, and have a wonderful day with reflection.